coming up to the first week of November again, and we are here in Las Vegas for the SEMA show. Now tomorrow morning, over 100,000 people are going to descend right here on the exhibition center to see all the latest trends in hot rodding and performance. Why don't you come with me and we'll take a look around what this show has to offer. SEMA was formed in 1963 and it now consists of over 6,500 companies worldwide. It brings together aftermarket manufacturers, OEM manufacturers, media, car dealers, specialty equipment distributors, installers, retailers and restorations from all over the world. Well, we've got the cat dragged in.
Yeah.
It's Doc from Street Outlaws. How you doing, man?
I'm all right, buddy. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. Now what I want to know is, we haven't featured this engine before. She's a big girl. Can you tell me a little bit about what we got going on in here?
It's big.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's big.
How big is big?
As you might remember, at PRI last year, December last year, we unveiled the new power plant, 959 cubic inches.
Just so I get that in metric speak, that's 14.8 liters or something?
If you round it up, it's 14.7 something. So let's round it up to about 14.8 liters.
Near enough to 15 liters.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a lot of milk jugs.
Yeah, that's a lot. Especially because we have 3-liter milk jugs and you guys have 1-liter milk jugs.
This is a good point. This is a good point. Yes. That's true.
Anyway, so 959 engine.
Yeah.
I'm building another car for the No Prep series. That's what this engine was going to go into. Then fast forward to Bristol this year. They paid us $200,000 to win. So it was a big
paycheck.
A big paycheck to win, and the 728s I didn't feel could do it. So we decided to put the 959 in the car, and it's done very well. It's done really well. It's definitely faster. Yep. A lot more torque, a lot funner. It sounds great. We stuffed this thing in, guys, in 4.5 days. Me and my chassis guys at Bob's Profab out of Tennessee.
So how much bigger is 900 and something cubic inches versus 700 and something? I mean, physically, are we looking bigger blocks, bigger heads, or is it?
Yeah, let's just talk block. Okay,
yeah, okay.
We'll talk block. The 728s was a 5.0 bore space, 5 inches from center to center of the bores. Yep. So this one is 5.3, 5.3.
Times 4 of them each side.
Yes, longer. So this spacer block right here, that's the distance. So
it's just about over an inch.
Just a little over an inch longer. Yep. The deck height on the other engines was a 11.1. Yep. On the 728s, this is 12.2.
So that's an inch and a bit higher.
Yeah, that's quite a bit, a little bit more than an inch higher. Yeah. So it's just everywhere you look's bigger. The push tubes are as big as my thumb. Yeah. So
you're still running nitrous? How's that working?
Still running it. 5 stages of nitrous versus 4 on the other ones. The car's, it's pretty mean. It's pretty intimidating. It throws out the big blue flames and
you got 900 something cubic inches. You got 5 stages of nitrous. I mean, I got to ask. Can you tell me how much horsepower? Be a ballpark.
Roughly 3,300.
That's a lot of ponies.
Yeah, I mean, we're not pushing like the turbo guys are pushing 4,000 and more, but for nitrous, this is pretty much the Mac Daddy of nitrous, and it's not about how much horsepower; it's about how you get it to the track and the first to the finish line.
That's kind of the question. How do you get it down? What's the? How do you go from 3,500 horsepower here to?
Obviously, the torque converter is a Neil Chance converter, so that plays a big part. It's a Rossler 3-speed transmission, and the gear, we're a Nitro Gear and Axles booth. I've got that billet badass 10-inch third member from Nitro Gear. I'm not breaking it.
That's it. Yeah, cool.
So, and the chassis, when Bob's Profab built the chassis for me, it was just top notch. We literally did not do anything to the chassis from 728 cubic inches at roughly 2,300 horsepower to 959 and 3,300 horsepower. We didn't have to do anything to the chassis.
That's an amazing testament.
So the chassis was there. The car's working good. It's actually working better now than it did before.
Awesome.
So the chassis wanted the horsepower from the beginning.
Beautiful.
So obviously, we didn't even talk about the big thing. Folks, believe this or not, I'm not gonna lie. We pulled this engine out. We used the same exact harness We just adapted it a little bit to this engine. The same exact Haltech, the same exact coil on, the same exact CDI box as what ran the 728s is running the 959. That's how versatile the Haltech system is for me.
You pretty much went into the software, upped the engine capacity, adjusted the tune-up.
Yeah, Eric
on the dyno.
Eric over here at Haltech America, we went through and just changed the cubic inch factor and the fuel types a little bit different, you know, and we started up and it fired right up.
How good's that?
Yeah, and
that is not a paid testimonial, people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how it happened.
That's cool.
We went out, we ran Bristol. We didn't do great, but I mean, we ran Bristol literally a day and a half after we got it finished. So no testing time, but we went out and we lost to Daddy Dave by inches, you know. Then I finally come back to Haltech and we put it on the dyno there at Haltech, and Eric did some tweaking. And in 4 passes on the motor, we made almost 300 more horsepower, just tuning, cleaning up the fuel system. So, so the Haltech system and in the hands of the right tuner is just amazing.
That's what we like to hear. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate your effort.
Any time.
Good luck in the future.
You bet, guys. Thank you, guys. Haltech #1.
The SEMA show covers over 500,000 square feet. That's a lot of walking over 4 days. In fact, it said if you spent just 30 seconds at every booth, you could not see the entire show over the 4 days that it runs. I'm here with Kyle Mohan and his MX-5 drift car. Kyle, tell me a bit about your setup.
Well, you know, we've been focused a lot on the Formula D series and really trying to make a lot of horsepower with our rotary setups. We've been running rotaries for basically 15 years in different forms of motorsports, and Formula D is one of the hardest sports when it comes to components, development, and really making, you know, a setup that's reliable. Even a lot of the US series has actually gone into V8s and things like that, and I mean, we play with all types of motors. We're just modern hot rodders. We love everything, but rotaries are my thing. So, you know, this year we were able to put together one of our 3 rotors with the help of Mazda Tricks, running the Haltech Elite ECU, running E98 ethanol, precision turbo, HET gearbox, and basically this car, this setup, running over 1,000 horsepower, 37 pounds of boost target, basically the whole season, 1 motor, 1 gearbox, 1 turbo, 1 tune. And for us, reliability is everything. If we can't be there at the end of the event, there's no point.
Well, so obviously you're an engine builder. That's what you do by trade. That's your job, building engines. And you sort of drive a race car semi-professionally. You're in the big series. Do you think that being an engine builder helps you be a race car driver, or being a race car driver helps you being an engine builder?
Oh man, it's definitely a very good, interesting question. You know, originally I think that being the engine builder helped me become the race car driver. It really gave me an understanding of what the car was doing, what the motors were doing, and what was needed to be able to win and go fast. And then you hit a point where being the engine builder, I don't want to blow up my own motor, and so I feel like sometimes, you know, I'm a little limiting, and that's where my tuners like Nelson come in, and they know when it's game time that I sit down in the car. That's when I put on that driver's hat. We're going full boost, turning off the safeties. We want everything to run as powerfully and as freely as possible. But then, you know, there's the other side of me that, you know, as the engine builder, if anything is happening, if anything isn't there, it's helpful, but it also might delay us a little bit because I want to know what's going on. I want to make sure everything really is working. So I would believe that it's definitely helped me to come from the engine building side, have a really good understanding of the cars, and being able to delve in and take that knowledge when something either goes right or wrong, and then turn that into the business end. And then on the flip side, and when I'm in the driver's seat and something's, you know, maybe there's a little noise, I don't worry about it. I keep my foot down because I know everything about this car and I know I built it right. So therefore, I think realistically both become benefits. I trust the car, I trust my engines, and I'm developing new packages all the time.
So as you're putting one of these things together, you bolt the rotors together, you're putting seals in. Are you thinking, I know what abuse I'm going to put this thing through. Does that go through your mind as you're building an engine?
Absolutely, and I think that's been part of what's led to some of the engine packages I've been able to develop. I'll even critique a customer's goals and try to get an understanding of who they are and how they're going to drive it, and that might go into how I'm going to build it. If it's going right to a dyno or right to a race, I want to know if the first thing it's going to see is 37 pounds of boost, because I know I've had to do that to my own components, so I've got good advice to give, and I've been through those tough times. So even though there were the frustrations at certain points where, yes, I'm building the motors and I'm seeing what I'm doing to them as the driver, so I'm mad at the driver as the engine builder, but that's led to the progression that's got us to a reliable package in one of the world's most difficult series. And it's not just on the drivers, it's also difficult on the components.
What's planned? What's coming up in the future? What's happening next year?
Well, we've got some exciting plans, and I don't want to give everything away, but we'll give some tidbits. We obviously built our twin turbo 13B powered Haltech Elite ethanol burning FD3S. That's been cruising around for a year now. Everybody wants to see that go into Formula D. We'll have to see what happens. I'm still in love with it. I'm not ready to necessarily knock the wings and bumpers off yet. But we did just go out to a high-speed half-mile race where they do the half-mile, basically, time attack. And I got really intrigued. I believe there's a rotary record that's standing right now, and I might have to go, try my hand at that.
Cool.
And then there's also our RX-8 that we ran for many years, our rotary-powered one, our 3-rotor one, and we partnered with some new partners, Precision Turbo, Billet Inc., and we're considering maybe putting a billet rotary RX-8 back together, get it out in Formula D form, so that way the KMR team has multiple cars to choose from. Maybe we have a mini-me for the short tracks, and maybe something with a little longer wheelbase for those bigger tracks. But basically, we're coming after all those big teams, and we're going to be boosting rotaries until there's Doritos flying everywhere.
That's what I'm talking about. Love it, triangles everywhere. SEMA is the largest annual gathering of small businesses on the planet. It's the place where more than 160,000 industry professionals from a single industry connect to do business. The SEMA New Product Showcase drives the automotive industry. It's where all the latest products are released, with over 3,000 new and featured products every single year coming to market. So I was wandering through the feature vehicles and I came across this WRX, but what really interested me was the engine. So I found the owner. I got Austin here. Tell me a bit about what we got going on.
This is my 2012 WRX. Has an R34 RB26 motor and trans and rear diff installed, still all-wheel drive, and it's a fun car to drive.
Sounds like it, man. Now you got a pretty big turbo on this. Tell me about the turbo.
Yep, this is a 9174 EFR from Borg Warner.
Yep. And we're still running 2.6 litre?
No, we are 2.8 stroke motor.
Okay.
Built head by OCD Works and 292 Tomei cams.
So it's a pretty big setup. What kind of horsepower are you putting through?
I did about 700 to the wheels, to the all wheels, at about 21, 22 pounds of boost. 22
pounds of boost, 700 horsepower, all-wheel drive. Now, tell me a little bit about some of the challenges. Obviously, there's a bit of a notch in the firewall there. What are the challenges of putting an RB engine into a WRX?
Yep, well, the biggest part was making sure the front diff will align with the front hubs. As some people may know, the axles come out of the transmission in a standard Subaru transmission, whereas the GTRs have a front differential.
Right.
So the motor had to go far back into the firewall, which then pushed a lot of interior stuff back. Had to rebuild the trans tunnel, of course, firewall as well. It was a lot of work just to keep it all-wheel drive.
So there's some pretty big engineering challenges in just stuffing this donk into this chassis because you've got to move everything back.
Yep, the motor actually fit perfect in the bay, but the front hubs wouldn't line up with the diff. So everything went back.
So I guess at that point your choices are either move the struts forward, move the wheels forward, or move the engine back.
Yep, correct. So it worked out, moving the engine back, better weight distribution, and handles much better now.
What possesses you to take a Subaru and put a Nissan engine in it? I mean, apart from the obvious that it's just a GTR engine.
Well, the car was ready for some more power, and I didn't want to do the standard Subaru rotated setup that every other Subaru builder does, so I wanted to do something different, and of course something all-wheel drive, and there weren't too many options for a nice all-wheel drive setup, and what better than the legendary GTR.
proving that SEMA doesn't have to be all about polish and glitter. We have some serious rat rods here too. This bad boy here looks fully homemade. It's got tubular steel manifolds, but it's got airbags, 6-wheeler. This thing's sick. Yeah, how about a Cheetah Evolution track car for your weekend drives? Powered by an LS V12 with a Haltech ECU. Wow, look what we have here. It's the E36 BMW from the guys at Hooligan. The purpose of the series on this car was to save a car from the scrapyard, turn it into a track monster. One of the things that I love about the Knucklebuster series is when Danger Dan gets over his head, he brings in the experts. This thing is running a Haltech Elite ECU, so it must be running mint. SEMA's more than just the biggest part show in the world for all your new performance parts. There's car shows, there's demonstrations, there's drifting, there's ride-alongs, there's entertainment here. You might come here to find all the latest and greatest products, but you can also come here just to be entertained by the automotive lifestyle festival that it is. That's it. I found the truck of my dreams right here. I got Brad, you built this bad boy.
Yes, sir.
Show it.
All right. Yeah, we basically built it's an off-road truck that carries all tools, but we wanted it to look factory. So when you look at it, when it's all shut up right now, you can see all the body lines, everything matches up. But everything just has a hidden compartment everywhere we could have put it.
Show me the magic.
So the first thing is the fender opens.
Yeah.
And then you have storage and tools everywhere. So in this compartment, we have a nitrogen power tank system, fire extinguisher, Boxo tools, Max straps. I mean, you name it.
It's got it.
Yeah.
Doesn't end here though, right?
No. I mean, there's much more. So the crazy part is you have all the tools and no one will even know you have the tools.
All right.
And then it just shuts up like factory.
So sick.
Back here, you have a full MIG welder, TIG welder, plasma cutter. You have your hoodie, gloves.
Just in case you're off-road and you need to do a bit of welding, you know,
Exactly.
weld the strut tail back on or something like that.
Well, me being an off-road racer, I mean, I break tie rods.
Genuinely are welding things
yeah.
up, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
has
a
all the
support
tools.
vehicle.
Yeah, basically a hidden support vehicle.
Hidden sleeper.
Yeah, exactly. That's
sleeper.
exactly what it is.
What?
Back here we have all grade 8 bolts and basically everything organized.
All lined out and organized.
Yeah, this truck, then those, the lights hoist up 5 feet and then kind of overlook
Oh yeah.
wherever
set
we're
up a
gonna
pit.
be. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
that is sick. So tell me, this is obviously what you do. Where do people get in contact with you if they want to know more about this kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we kind of just build crazy stuff. I'm on Instagram, it's just @BradDeBerti.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, we build from anywhere from race truck stuff to things like this, show cars, show vehicles, and really just different things.
Well, there you go, custom fabrication. You want your truck to look something like this, hit Brad up on Instagram and he'll sort you out.
That's
Brad.
right.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. The Racing and Performance Hall is where you find all the latest and greatest products to make your ride go faster, harder, and better. I'm down here now at Voodoo Ride. I've got Ryan Litteral with me. Ryan drives this green monster here. This is a pretty sick car, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Tell me all about it. What can you tell me?
So it's a 1998 240SX, S14 for everybody around the world, right?
We call that a 200SX in Australia.
Well, you guys got the good motor over there.
Yeah, I mean,
so
200SX over here is like a front wheel drive Sentra or something.
You don't want to drive that.
Yeah, no.
So it's a 1998 240SX S14. It's powered by an RB25 S2 still hydraulic lifter. It runs a Haltech 2500 Elite system. Has injector dynamics, 2200cc injectors. It's got a Borg Warner EFR 8374D. It's got a massive 4.5-inch Garrett core on there, intercooler core. Rear mount radiator, obviously for more cooling. That's the main reason. Yes, there's a weight balance effect advantage that you could take from that, but mainly just for cooling. Inline 6-cylinder into an S chassis. There's not a lot of room for a big core.
Sure.
So I think it's standard pretty much in the industry today. Rear mount, that's the way to go.
That seems to work. Now, tell me, where do you drive this? I mean, what series you're running in? Where do people get to see you in action?
So I run my own events, even with my title sponsor, Voodoo Ride. So we do our own lifestyle events there. I participate in the Lifestyle Automotive Festival, which is absolutely fantastic, known as Grid Life here in the States. So they'd be very comparable to, say, Gateville over in Europe. That's our industry standard here in the United States.
So for the guys in Australia who don't know what Grid Life is, give me a bit of a breakdown on what Grid Life as a festival looks like.
So Grid Life as a festival incorporates everything from music to drifting to time attack to HPDE and car show and the whole camping aspect of it. So you get to go the whole weekend. So it's a 3-day event. So say it's you went to Coachella. I don't know if you guys know who that is. I'm sure everybody knows what Coachella is. So it's pretty much Coachella for cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you wind the clock back for our older viewers, it's like Woodstock for cars.
Woodstock for cars, best way. Okay, so I had teamed up for 2018, RLR and CoverWorks have teamed up together for the indefinite future to campaign a LS3, a stroked LS3, 416 cubic inch, powered 350Z with a Vortec blower.
Now that's taking your power another notch up. You go from
it is
taking the 240, whatever that is, in this to an RB, and now you've gone from the 350, you added an LS and a supercharger.
It's monstrous. It's monstrous. It's an absolute animal to drive. Sub 1,000 horsepower is no joke.
Yeah, okay.
This car is no pony either. This car puts down about 750 to the tire.
Okay.
But with the Z, 975 to the tire, as well as 800 foot-pounds of torque at 2,000 RPMs. That is...
So tell me the difference between driving an S chassis with 700 and a Z with 900 horsepower, but that coming from two totally different styles of power plant. One V8 torque monster, supercharged, one turbocharged, smaller capacity.
What's good about the 350Z is that the Vortec blower that we run on there, since it's centrifugal, it builds power up on top. So I can still drive it. So still a little bit of lag in that. So I still have to use my clutch to sometimes get where I needed to get it within the power band. Yep. So it makes my driving style, being primarily of a turbo background, to kind of really use the clutch to play with wheel speed and standard power band. I'm still able to retain some of that, even though I don't have to do it as much. I don't have to work as hard.
A little less, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So it was actually very easy for me to jump in that platform and to be confident and competitive doing that.
Yeah, cool. So tell me, how have you got in that car? How's the season panned out?
The season was full of ups and downs. We learned a ton, and we had a fantastic season. Our highs were extremely high. Every time we were on track, we made our presence known. We had a top 8 finish in Pro 1 in Texas, which was my personal first Pro 1 event in the States as well. So for us to be able to come
out of
through,
the gates, first event, boom.
Well, and we were running both. We were running both Pro 1 and Pro 2 because we were only going to commit to 4 rounds. That was essentially 8 events in those 4 rounds. So we just accelerated our testing and development for the car for the rounds that we were actually able to participate in. So that worked out well for us. The car took a hell of a beating. We broke everything. We improved on everything as much as we could. And for next year, it's just focusing on reliability and consistency, because that's what wins races.
You mentioned Voodoo Ride, your sponsor. Tell me about them. I've never heard of them before.
So Voodoo Ride is a fresh and upcoming, well, they've actually been around since 2007. They had a relaunch a couple years ago, but they make the best car cleaning products on the market. And that's just not me being so ingrained with them. That's just me personally. I use it on all my stuff, and I love it. It's the best stuff I've ever used.
You're going to hook me up with something, you know that.
Oh, you know what? I got you this special can right here.
Here's one I prepared earlier. All right, that's sick, bro.
I'll give you a little signature with that. Yeah, these are limited edition, little detailer cans.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, a little something for you. But yeah, you're going to love this. Take this back to Australia with you. Polish up. Whatever you drive, the wife's car, your barbecue,
That's good times. I'm going to put this on my Volkswagen.
Beautiful.
I love it, man. Well, where can our fans find you online?
You can find me on Instagram, @Ryan Litteral, YouTube, @Ryan Litteral, and also you can follow along with Haltech.
Perfect.
You guys, let me know, let everybody know what we're up to.
That's sick, man. Well, hey, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. See you on track soon.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. We're all done and dusted. It's all over for another year. 4 days of all the latest and greatest new products, everything you could ever want for the performance race car here at SEMA from Las Vegas. If you've never been to this event, you need to come and check it out. Well, until next year at this show, this is Matt from Haltech, and I'll see you next time.